everybody knew, everybody cheered for, and just a flat out good guy and a hell of a racer, Steve Grossenbacher. And you know what? The racers that put their kids first, you always got to have a little bit of respect for him and say, yeah, that's the right thing to do. And the reason Trevor couldn't join us in studio tonight is because his son Tate has got some kind of an athletic event. I can't remember if it was soccer or baseball, but he's out doing that tonight. And with him, or maybe it was a big party for their soccer team or something, but obviously it was something they needed to be at. But Trevor was kind enough to say, you know what, I'd love to come on. So we got some questions. We'll talk to Trevor Grossenbacher, the 2014 Nebraska 360 Touring Series sprint car champion, 2019 Eagle Raceway sprint car champion. But he'll be on with us at about 7:25 tonight. Rebecca, the SCCA had an event this weekend, and I'm just curious because I know you are dying to get in a car. Did you make it out to Air Park?
I did not make it out. I need to probably put it on my calendar, right? That these are things that happen every other weekend because I'm not trained to go look at any of this stuff here in Lincoln. In fact, I've been trying to go to the Beatrice Raceway Friday night, the last 2 Friday nights, but like rolling thunder has been coming in.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know. I guess they actually raced. I didn't stay because I thought the rain was coming in. I didn't actually stay.
Well, I was going to say, it looked, I don't see any results on their website, so I don't think they
both Fridays,
raced.
The rain was coming. I was leaving work because I work down there these days, and you could see the dark sky coming in. I'm looking at the forecast. I'm like, I don't think they're racing tonight. So that's on my short list. I did not make it to SCCA this weekend.
Yeah, no. So I did actually make it out to Eagle Raceway last night and went and hung out with a guy who just bought a company, just happens to be a proud sponsor of the Victory Lane segment here on the finish line, Mike Boston and Eagle Chassis. I was hanging out in the pits with Mike last night. He's got a good crew, Jason Edwards and Nick Bryan help him out. Nick was in studio with Mike a couple of weeks ago. It was really interesting. I had not been in the pits in that capacity, and I didn't help a whole lot. I just kind of stayed out of the way. It's something where if I ever need to go jump in and really truly be hands-on with him, I'm going to have a good conversation with Mike about what he wants, because that's the one thing I've learned over the years. Like, hey, do you want me to come help?
Right.
Find out what they want you to help with. And just for those that like racing and you want to get involved, just a tip, because I'm a guy that always wanted to race. I always wanted to drive. I wanted to be involved. Well, I spent 10 years announcing at Eagle Raceway. While I was doing it, I did track prep too. While I did it, I ran the cleanup crew. I fixed fryers during races. I cleaned bathrooms. I picked up trash.
Yeah.
Go get involved. Go, and if you want to be a part of a race team, go into the pits, pay the money. I get it. It's $30 to get in, but there's a reason why, because safety things, etc. But go walk around, strike up a conversation with somebody.
Yep. You learn a lot just by looking also, right?
Exactly. And offer to scrape mud.
Yes.
That's if you're not
scrape mud or get tools or run to the little truck and get some parts or something, like a number of things, right? You always need an extra pair of hands if you work on cars.
Exactly. Always. So, but last night it was really interesting, being in the pit for the whole night and seeing how the race went on and what they were doing from a setup standpoint with some slight adjustments. And it's really funny because there's guys that I've helped that they'd have a base setup and they'd kind of have a really good idea where the track was going to go later in the night. And they'd make a couple of minor adjustments for the A feature. Mm-hmm. And last night, because of point averages, Mike winds up starting in the third row of the heat because they invert the top 6. They invert the top 24 and it's all, so you got 4 heats. Yep. And so he's inside of the third row. He doesn't make the feature. So he's got to run the B. Now he's, starting on, I think the outside of the front row for the B, and he literally runs away with it.
Right.
But the difference, hot laps got done. They start tweaking on the car. They make a couple of minor adjustments. And, I'm kind of picking Nick's brain because Nick and Mike are on the same page a lot, but they have a quick conversation and Nick starts making some adjustments, and I just kind of throw out what I would do or what I thought, and there's a reason why Nick's really good at working on sprint cars and I'm not. Right? But it's just me, like, my knowledge.
That's how you learn too, right?
Well, yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm. But I understood what he was talking about.
Sure.
And just the small little tiny details, especially with a 305 sprint car, because that horsepower is not there.
Mm-hmm.
You 60 to 70, I think, is what Tyler Perry and Mike both said about right. The different. Like the slowest car has like 60 fewer horsepower than the fastest.
Yep.
And so you've got to be able to fine tune certain things, and the way they dial their shocks in, the spacing, even a half inch of spacing on a right rear tire or a left rear tire, or the amount of stagger. There was a point last night where they modified a couple of things that were so minute, yet when they went back out on the track, when Mike went back out, you noticed a difference.
Well, this is one of the things I like to talk to the experienced racers about when they're trying to improve. Is it their driving they're trying to improve? Is it track position, right? When you got to be on the front row to get past somebody, hard to do from the back, or is it the actual car? I know there's a piece of all of that, but when you're very experienced, which one of those are they working more on? Is it their skill, or is it the car? Is it really just track position?
Well, I can tell you last night, for example, Mike started outside of 1 in the B, and he won going away.
Right.
No one was even close. The guys that would get close on a caution, he would just pull away with.
There's nobody in front of you, right? Nothing
exactly.
To dodge,
the clean air helps. Flip side, go to one of the heat races. I believe it was heat race 3 or 4, and Stewie Snyder, who we've had on the show, started, I believe, 9th. And came through the field and ran 2nd. And if it would have been 2 more laps, he probably would have won the heat race.
Interesting. Yeah.
But he gets in now. So he got through traffic. He got into the feature and had to start in the 6th row. He's with his point average. It's one of the top ones out there. He's starting in the 6th row. Mired in traffic a little bit, hadn't really moved. And all of a sudden he no longer has a right front tire, courtesy of one of those on the track incidents.
Yep.
And his night's done.
Yeah.
That's how simple it is. There's times that you could just get things set up and rolling and everything's great. But the bottom line, especially from the standpoint of fans that want to go out, it's such an awesome facility out at Eagle to be able to go watch, and all the classes, all those guys are doing exactly kind of what I had told you that I was seeing with Mike in his pit. All those guys, whether it's a hobby stock, whether it's one of the sport mods that Dana Deakey drives, he was in here last week, whether it's one of the modifieds, absolutely makes no difference. They're going in every time and they're tweaking something. They're trying to figure something out to make them go just a touch faster. And it's a guessing game on what the track is going to do.
Right. Because then you have the track inconsistencies or whatever, from weather to how they water it to, the way it's designed, and then, just random stuff of the day. So a lot to think about when you're racing.
Absolutely. A couple of headlines from the week. I'm going to start off with the bottom line, the largest payout in the history of sprint car racing,
and it was actually a decent race too.
It was. I feel so bad.
Twist.
I feel so bad for Buddy Kofoid.
Yeah,
but David Gravel wins the largest payout in World of Outlaw history. It's also the largest payout in sprint car history. Buddy Kofoid led the first 30 laps, blew a motor while leading with 10 laps to go in last night's feature at the High Bank Nationals in Brandon, South Dakota at Huset Speedway.
He was running away with it too.
He was. David Gravel was. Gravel was not going to catch him.
No.
And at the same time, at the same time, Gravel had 4 straight second place finishes before Friday night's program. And it was a heck of a race. The way they do things, bottom line, there's certain guys in the industry of racing, not just sprint cars, but in racing in general. And I'm going to throw Tony Stewart into it because of what he's done for racing, specifically grassroots dirt track racing.
Yes.
He doesn't care. Granted, his background is sprint cars, but he doesn't care. He just wants people that want to get into the car for the first time, learn about the racing, etc. He does everything he can to help.
Sure.
He tries to do his best the way he promotes everything that happens at Eldora Raceway, one of the most legendary tracks on the planet. Todd Quiring, who still does, Jackson Motorplex in Jackson, Minnesota. When at the time Badlands Speedway was up for sale, and choose my words that I won't get myself in trouble, gentleman that owned it, that wasn't necessarily the most above board in business gentleman. At any rate, Todd Quiring stepped in, was able to make a deal that made sense for him to buy one of the most legendary tracks out there as well, which is Huset's. It's a 1/4 mile high bank track, and it is wild up there. He has done every single thing right to make it better for fans, to make it better for racers, to make it better for car owners. They put on a hell of a show, and he's one of the most quality individuals in the sport of racing in general. And it's fantastic. They already announced it. High Bank Nationals round 3 next year, $250,000 to win again.
It's not that far from here. I was looking up to see where Brandon is, because I was just in South Dakota. On the other side of the state, I saw, as I pulled that up, I was like, oh, we could actually go there. And, you think about all the tracks in this area. They're all within 3 or 4 hours. It feels like a great place to be here in Lincoln, and able to go race at all these other tracks.
3.5 hours, and I have made that drive and rode on a bus up there a lot, because when I was calling games for the Stars,
Okay.
We played in Sioux Falls.
Oh, yeah.
Normally we were up there probably 3 or 4 times a year, but it's not a bad drive at all. Straight up I-29.
Yeah.
And you just take a right a little bit before the giant rock quarry, and 3 or 4 miles off to the east, and you're in Brandon. But whale of an event there. We've got the Eldora Million coming up here before the summer is out in July, and then Knoxville Nationals. Everything is kind of confirmed. I'm going to finalize all the reservations and stuff here probably tomorrow, but I'll be in Knoxville for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night show for the Nationals. Funny thing is, I've been in and around sprint car racing for the vast majority of my life as a fan or as a crew guy or as an announcer or a cleanup guy. Made no difference. I never have been to the Knoxville Nationals.
Oh, you're kidding.
When I worked at the track full time, that was my only weekend off.
Yes.
And I just genuinely didn't want to spend it at a racetrack.
Sure. Yeah.
So
we're going to get the blow by blow from the time you leave your garage all the way
pretty
to,
much.
Yep. What's the scenery like on the way to Knoxville Nationals? You're going to pass people in their RVs.
There's a lot of windmills.
It's going to be so much fun. I mean, I love that trek to the track. That's one of the most fun things you can do.
Yeah. So we'll make sure you follow me on Twitter at Melby67. I'll be tagging the ticket and I'll be giving updates. I'm not going to try to do real time any of that type of stuff, but for sprint car fans that want to know what's going on, and I'm going to be doing a little digging while I'm there. I'm going to see if I can't find out why something happened or, whatever, but I'll try to throw out a little bit of not necessarily dirt, but just stuff that you're not going to hear if you watch the broadcast on Dirt Vision and that you may not know just because you're not there, but I'll try to make sure I can provide with as many updates as I can, and looking forward to it.
It'll be great. No, it'll be great. Yeah. All part of our experience, right? That we're trying to give here in Lincoln.
Exactly. One of the other things that happened this week that I found very interesting, a keyboard warrior named Dave, he's got 19 followers. So obviously he's
a keyboard warrior with 19 followers.
Yeah.
All right.
At any rate, he tweets at Kyle Larson that he needs to share some of the money that he wins.
Oh, this one. Yes.
With the guys who race for a living.
Yes.
And then Larson evidently was in a mood.
He was not happy with that.
And he came up with a couple of pretty good responses to some other people.
Yep. Because the people piled on.
Yeah. And the thing is, Kyle Larson races for a living.
Yes, he does.
And he pointed that out to the guy. Evidently, I guess that's breaking news. Kyle Larson is not just independently wealthy and shows up in any kind of car and wins.
Right.
I thought that's what it was, but nope. He fired back with a great gif of Jim Carrey's Lloyd Christmas handing out money from Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
And the thing I want to know, and I'm going to throw this out to listeners, you can text in or call in 402-464-5685 on the Honda of Lincoln hotline or the Sutter Heyman text line. What do you think of guys like Larson racing in, I'm going to call it a lesser series because he's a NASCAR Cup driver.
Right.
So it's
for a reason,
because he's one of the best out there.
One of the best. Yep.
Because he cut his teeth racing at all these lower level series.
Right.
But he's another guy that I think is going to transcend the racing sport because of what he's already doing. He started his own damn series to make sure that drivers and owners that put all this money and all this time and effort into cars have an opportunity to win bigger purses.
Right. Well, and most of these guys, if you don't know, I'm sure Kyle does, we'll have to look it up on the break. Most of these guys are philanthropists because they make a fair amount of money. They do have their personal passions that they give their money back to. It's just not giving it to the other drivers they're competing with. So you go, Kyle, but I would say, how much money is too much money? Why someone would say that about someone else's money and what they earn? These guys are very generous in general.
Well, and the funny thing about the comment about why don't you give your money back is you do realize that Kyle Larson owns a sprint car series that pays the guys that race in the series. Now, granted, he races with them, but flip side
he wins a fair amount.
He does. He's won the last 3, including the one at Eagle. But guess what? If it's not for him being out on that track,
totally.
Do you know what the success of that series would be in year 1?
Well, yeah, just bring in another series, right, to racers because we need these different levels for people to compete. So again, what people do, and I look at this from a business perspective. So these kinds of comments always get me a little wound up because people are doing other things outside. They're running a business, right? This is not the philanthropy side. They're competing and running a business.
Exactly.
Yep.
And the bottom line is the rules are the same for everybody.
Yes, they are.
So I think we're going to jump into our victory lane segment. Do we have it? You two and
we were able to pull it
fast
off.
thumbs.
This
and
morning
everything.
I troubleshooted the YouTube channel. Today I'm hooking you up with your victory lane. We got it ready to roll.
Like you said, there's nothing you can't do in a race car. Now, can you walk? Am I going to have to carry you? Where to? Victory Lane.
Come around here, pan over there. That's where everybody wants to be, and that's where this party's going to finish. Victory Lane.
He's waited 15 years to get back to Victory Lane here at Talladega. A lot of wrecks in between.
For the 11th time in his illustrious career, Tommy Shaw back in Victory Lane in the Knoxville Nationals.
He's making the right-hand turn into NOS Energy Drink Victory Lane. Your NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals champion is young buddy, Kyle Larson.
The most anticipated moment in the history of NASCAR racing. Dale Earnhardt rolling into Victory Lane in the Daytona 500.
That was one, as I was putting it together, you normally don't want segment intros to be overly long, but the last couple with Larson, it was Shots last year at Knoxville, and
Shots
then the
Larson
ultimate
and
with
Earnhardt.
Dale.
You can't beat the Earnhardt one.
It kind of gave me chills, and I'm like, you
Yep,
know what,
I've
it's
got 'em
going to be
goosebumps.
long. So Victory Lane is sponsored by Eagle Chassis and Eagle Motorsports LLC. Mike Boston, the new owner of Eagle Chassis. I was down at his shop last week taking a look at the way he's got everything set up. He needs to expand. It is all crammed in there, but the work he does is absolutely amazing. He walked me through what he does in order to build these cars the first time, and then what it takes to put them back together in case there is an on-track incident. We walked through some of the safety features that are on cars, some of the things he's now doing with Eagle Chassis to make them more adaptable and make them adjustable from the standpoint of where certain bars are with the height and the size of certain drivers. The shoulder straps, the connection behind the seat is supposed to be about 4.5 inches below the shoulder line. Well, guess what? If those bars aren't right where you need them, you're stuck. You got to order a different chassis, design more specific measurements, whatever. He's figured out a way to do it where you've got an adjustable bar that is just as secure and as lightweight as we know some people really care about.
Yes.
But bottom line is it's safety, and it makes it more efficient for the drivers, less expensive for the drivers. Eagle Chassis, fantastic to have them on board as a sponsor. So let's get to it. Who won?
Who won, Mike?
I don't know who won in Cup because the race started about an hour ago
exactly.
from Nashville Super Speedway. Yesterday in the Xfinity Series, AJ Allmendinger took home the win, and Friday night at Nashville Super Speedway in the Truck Series, Carson Hocevar picked up, I believe, his third or fourth win of the year. Next weekend, Xfinity and Cup are both at the Chicago Street Race, and then Truck has the weekend off, and Craftsman Truck Series back in action on July 8th at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. High Limit Series dark until July 25th when they race at Grandview Speedway. The All-Stars are dark. They're off until, I believe, July 7th. Pennsylvania Speed Week kicked off last night. What an unreal race with Anthony Macri, Brent Marks, and Danny Dietrich. Macri took home the win to kick off Pennsylvania Speed Week. For nobody, that's not a particular series. It's just one of the biggest week-long events in sprint car racing. World of Outlaw Sprints, we already talked about it. David Gravel takes home $250,000 winning the High Bank Nationals in Brandon, South Dakota. On Thursday night's qualifier, Kyle Larson won. James McFadden picked up the win in the Roth 83 on Thursday night. Friday night, Logan Schuchart got himself into the top two guarantees with Buddy Kofoid for the King of the Hill race that set the first 4 rows of the feature. And Gravel, though, bringing home the win. Outlaws are at Cedar Lake Speedway in New Richmond, Wisconsin next Friday and Saturday night. World of Outlaw late models at 81 Speedway in Wichita, Kansas. Brandon Shepard wins on Friday night. Dennis Erb brings home the win last night. Lucas Oil late models. It was the 17th annual Firecracker 100 at Lernerville Speedway, one of the coolest tracks in Pennsylvania. It's in Sarver, Pennsylvania. Jonathan Davenport and Tim McCready won the dual features on Thursday. Friday night feature winners were Ricky Thornton Jr. and Max Blair. And then the big money, $50,000 last night to Ricky Thornton Jr., Lucas Oil late models
Very cool.
at Muskingum County Speedway in Dresden, Ohio. I apologize to residents of that county because I probably butchered the name. And then at Eagle last night, Gunnar Pike won the sprint car feature. Modified feature was won by Brent Berry. Matt Andrews took home the Sport Mod A feature, Stock Car A feature. Shane Stutzman, a young man that was, I'm going to say, not intelligent enough to not let me hot lap his car one time when I worked out there. He was actually the first one, and then no one else would let me. But I didn't break his car too bad. At any rate, Shane Stutzman picks up the victory last night in Stock Cars at Eagle, and in the Hobby Stocks, David Carter did. Beatrice was dark on Friday, courtesy of the rain.
Courtesy of the rain. And isn't there a World of Outlaw race in Norfolk, Nebraska tonight? At least I saw that when I was looking up the schedule. Not a feature race, obviously, or not a major race, but
we'll have to look up what's in Norfolk tonight.
It's
I know Malvern Banks 360 sprints were there last Sunday.
Okay.
Or had a race going on last Sunday, but we can check into that.
Check it into that. I
So
was surprised to have something so local. I wasn't aware. Yeah.
I think we need to make a phone call.
We do.
Yeah, I want to talk to Trevor Grossenbacher because I got a bone. No, I don't. Trevor agreed last night to come on the air with us today. He's got a little family thing going on, but he's going to step aside and give us about 15, 20 minutes. We'll chat with him about, I don't know, a whole lot of stuff. I got some interesting questions. So this is the finish line here on 93.7 The Ticket. Back with more after this.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive. Always honest answers.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-9462.
The sweet relief of air conditioning after a hot day in the summer sun. For only $2.88 a day, LES helps power life's special moments and your comfort. Learn more at les.com/value.
Many of you got really tired of working for your boss this year. If it's time to be your own boss, look into buying your own business with Transworld Business Advisors of Lincoln. Call 402-413-1095.
The weather is hot, the kids are out of school, and you're on your way to the lake and summer road trips. Are you getting to your vacation spot comfortably, or is your car letting you down? Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride for summer road trips and beyond. Mullen Motors.
No tag-on, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
It's the best time of the year to order a new John Deere planter from Landmark Implement during the early order program. Plant for success with the industry's latest technology. Upgrade to an ExactEmerge high-speed planter to cover more acres, increasing flexibility and productivity. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year. Contact your local Landmark location to order your new John Deere planter and experience the Landmark difference.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this summer. Check out their new Keen and Tiva brand sandals for hiking and Olukai sandals for sitting by the pool. Plus, they're stocked up on Hey Dukes to catch you up on the latest shoe fashion. They also have shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Aetrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66 and Q in Lincoln.
The days of internet contracts and heavy fine print are over. It's time to experience hassle-free service with no contracts or hidden fees. That's the Allo promise. Allo Communications provides fiber internet, TV, and phone services with fair and no-nonsense pricing. All backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, 24/7 local support 365 days a year, and a monthly bill you can count on. Don't settle for gimmicks. Settle for hassle-free with Allo. Visit us at allofiber.com/hassle-free.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Back to the finish line with Mike Melby on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the finish line here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. I'm Mike Melby. Rebecca Pearson to my right, Austin Ormond driving the car this evening, and on the Honda of Lincoln hotline, we have got the 2014 Nebraska 360 Sprint Touring Series champion, 2019 Eagle Raceway champion. On the phone with us, Mr. Trevor Grossenbacher. Trevor, how are you tonight?
Hi, guys. How you doing? Doing great. Just enjoying my Sunday. It's doing a little relaxing.
So I know you, your son Tate had a kind of a big event today, right?
Yep, that end of year baseball party. So that's what we just got home from, and we're just sitting on the back porch, just kind of hanging out.
Nothing wrong with that. How did their team do this year?
They did really good. They ended up second season championship. They ended up second in the tournament. So they played good. He's a really good athlete and likes sports. Wishes he raced a little more, but I said you're too busy in sports right now. So he wished he raced a little more, but we're just really active in sports.
Nothing wrong with that. Now, you started racing when you were 5. Is that right? Racing BMX bikes?
Yeah, I started racing BMX when I was 5. We traveled all over. I did that until 1996. I think I was like 10 years old. And I kind of took some time off because we raced a lot. We traveled all over the country. We raced 3 nights a weekend. And in 96 I think it was ABA District number 1 that year. We traveled all over, and I just kind of got burnt out. So told Dad I was done and kind of just hung out for a year. And then we started racing those little go quads. And then the next year, it had been 1999 to 2000. I think we moved into mini sprints, what we started in.
Okay, so when did you first realize that Dad raced sprint cars and really kind of understand what he had done in his career, how good he was, what a fan favorite he was, and did that drive the itch for you to get behind the wheel of a kart initially, and then a mini sprint, and eventually a sprint car?
See, like growing up, I never got to watch my dad race. He quit when I was born, so I think it's kind of cool that Tate gets to see me race. In a way, like he gets to experience something I didn't. I always looked through my dad's photo albums when I was a kid, like all the race cars he had, and you hear stories from all the people, like how he did, And I never got to witness that. And then I think it was 1996 the year I quit racing bikes, he got a phone call to race sprint car again. So I got to watch him for 2 years. I think it was 96 and 97. And I wasn't old enough to go in the pits at that time, but I got to sit in the stands and watch him. And that was pretty cool. I got to see him win a feature at Eagle. It was just a really cool experience. And then he kind of stepped away again, and I started getting pretty busy in racing, and he's just been with me ever since.
How cool is it to have Dad like be that invested? Because, you know, like you said, he took you everywhere for all the BMX racing, and he has been, you know, one of your staunchest supporters and a guy that has just literally been there helping you every step of the way. How cool is that?
Absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't be anywhere without him. My dad and my mom. I mean, my dad, we built wings from, God, I don't even know what year, 2000 to the year my son was born is kind of when we quit because we got too busy to build wings, but we built wings all the time for many sprint cars. That's kind of what paid for the racing deal because, I mean, you know how expensive it is. So we're just a low buck team, and to have him here by my side the whole time is huge. I mean, he's a constant supporter still to this day. I mean, he comes to the pits. I mean, Tyler helps me, we make all the decisions, and Dad just kind of hangs out, and that's how he wants it. Puts fuel in the car and enjoys just hanging out and talking to everybody that comes up and talks to him about the old times.
Hey, Trevor, before we leave 5-year-old Trevor, I'm just fascinated at a 5-year-old doing anything competitively, because if any of us have ever been to a baseball game with 5-year-olds, they're not particularly coordinated or football or basketball. So what is it about racing that makes a 5-year-old can do that compared to maybe the coordination required in the traditional sports?
I mean, it's a lot of, like BMX and racing, it's all individual, really. I mean, you have people that help you, but when you're out there, it's just you. So it's a lot of mental. I mean, when we started racing, my dad was hard on me. As soon as I get off the school bus, I had to do wind sprints in my bike every day.
Wow.
After school. I mean, get in shape and race. And I raced kids, like we did the Grands. I remember what year it was. I got second in the Grands, and I raced kids from Ecuador. I mean, all over the country,
Wow.
all over the world. And it was a big deal. I mean, it was a lot of fun. You meet so many people you travel with, and I just had a good time, and I really enjoyed it. I just kind of got burnt out of it and wanted something with a motor. My brother raced motocross and was really, really good at that. And I kind of was like, I want to do that. So when I stepped away from BMX, my dad, we borrowed a motorcycle and I rode it for a while, and I realized real quick that's not my path.
Not for me. Well, tell us a little bit about.
I'm better on four wheels than two. My brother and my nephew, my nephew races motocross now, and he's traveling all over doing that, and he's really good. So that's their side, and my side's four wheels.
That's great. Well, they're all super fun to watch, and I'm sure it's fun to have all those folks in the family, right? You have lots to talk about. I'm kind of interested in what it's like to build wings. What did you learn building your own wings for your cars? What works, what doesn't? What was that like?
It's a lot of hard work, I tell you that. We didn't have, when we did it, it's not like it is today where everything's CNC'd or punched out a material. It's all bent. You just assemble it. We'd buy it in sheets and we'd cut it out by hand. We had wooden bucks you'd hammer the material over with. I mean, you'd have 8 hours in building the top wing. So I learned work ethic real quick. I tore a race car up, Dad. We wouldn't race till, we built 3 or 4 wings, put the car back together.
Right.
So you learn real quick, hard work. It's a lot of work, but it's fun. Me and my dad got to do it and spend time together. It's unforgettable stuff.
Yeah, those are things that make you a great race car driver.
Well, exactly. Now, we're joined by Trevor Grossenbacher here on the finish line on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. You get through mini spins, you jump into a 360 out at Eagle. You have some pretty good success out there. No track titles quite yet. But then in the 2012 season, it's over, and the decision was made by Eagle to, instead of 360s, they're going to go down to the Race Saver 305 sprints. What were your thoughts at the time about that? Disappointment, frustration, anger, happiness, whatever. And then not too long after that, you won a 360 title in the Nebraska 360 Touring Series. but then you did make the jump to 305s. But go back to 2012. What was that initial thought process like for you as a guy that raced out there on a weekly basis, being told, okay, hey, we're not going to do your class anymore?
Well, it was pretty wild, actually. We were just at a pit meeting. Roger called a pit meeting like he has every week, and just at the end of the pit meeting, he said, by the way, this is the last year for 360s. We're going to 305s. And I mean, you kind of saw the writing on the wall. We weren't getting a lot of cars every week. We'd get 15 and occasionally 20. I mean, weren't getting a lot of cars. And initially I was bummed. I mean, Eagles, hands down, my favorite track. It's where I grew up when I was a kid watching. I mean, I loved it. I still love it. So I was disappointed, and I was like, I don't know if that's going to work out for him. I was like, I never even heard of these 305s, So we go on the road for a couple of years and race with the Nebraska 360s, which is fun. You do a lot of traveling, but you're not racing every weekend is what kind of sucked. I didn't really like. So we did the couple of years, and then the last year would have been 2014. Believe it or not, that year I didn't even have a win, and we still won the points. We were just really consistent. I think that was the only year of racing it. Once I got my first win, that was the only year I haven't won a race. So, and then we were just super consistent, and we ended up winning points, which was a goal of mine. It was awesome to win a 360 points race. And kind of in that year, I knew it was going to be my last year of 360s. The 305s were starting to take off, and just me and my dad, we can't afford. I mean, 360s were getting so expensive. We just couldn't keep up. I mean, it wasn't as fun as it was. I mean, we're kind of underpowered, the tires. And I had my son in 2013, so it was more feasible just to race close to home. So we sold the 360, and in 2015 is the first year we ran the 305s, and we had a really, really good year the first year. And that's where we've been since.
You have been in track title in 2019. I know a couple of weeks back, maybe a month ago now, I know you had a great run from, you were outside of 6, I want to say, at the start, and it was a bottom dominant track. There was nothing on the top except for you, and you drove up to 3rd. So obviously the success is always fun, but then there are the nights that things go sideways, the car goes sideways, and pieces get broken, destroyed, etc. And you just kind of went through that. Tell me a little bit about that side of racing with you. Granted, everybody's on a budget and all that type of stuff, and there's times you just need to take a couple of weeks off in order to get things fixed. What was it like? And first of all, I'm glad that you're okay after the one accident here a few weeks ago, but walk me through that side of racing.
Yeah, racing is definitely a very humbling sport. Like I went down to, well, this isn't even that last week, but we went down to Missouri and we swept both nights. Feeling top of the world, made some good money, come home, race the next week, and I break my back, So it's very humbling. Like, we had a good night, and then we go to Beatrice and tear the car up real bad. It tore everything up, and I have really good supporters. Like, I couldn't do it without all of them. I have a lot of great supporters. So we took a few weeks off, and we got that car repaired and kind of just regrouped. And I could have went out and raced with our other car, but I really liked that car we wrecked. So I kind of just want to take a little time. We took family camping, do that family stuff. We got 2 kids now, so that's a little more important to me than racing these days, but it's still racing. I love it. And I don't know when I'll be ready to give it up, but it's probably not every single week from here on out. But
well, from a fan standpoint, I know that there's a lot of people that want to see you race for a long, long time. We're joined on the finish line by the driver of the Stop and Shop, Muling Financial, Silver Ridge Construction, Ron Fox Motorsports, Husker Diesel, Cornhusker Heating and Air, Greg Masonry, Fast Track Farms, Speedway Motors Racing Engines, number 35. And I wanted to say all of them because there are so many people that have to help out all you guys to make sure that you can get on the track every week or every other week or however often that you want to race. What is it like as a driver and a member of a sprint car team, any type of a race team, to go out and start asking people, hey, I race, I'd like to put your name on the side of my car. What's that like for you?
See, that's one side that I am not good at, and I'll be the first to admit it, and my wife too. She knows that, and it's just hard a lot of my sponsors or advertising partners are people that I know or mutual friends know, because it is hard to go up to ask somebody for money, say, hey, can I have some, you want to help me out, support my hobby? You know, it's hard to do, and it's hard to find them. And when you do, you have to treat them right. And that's what I take pride in. Most of my sponsors I've had since I started racing, like Stop and Shop, has been with me for 10 plus years.
I think that's normal too.
WC's has been with me for 10 plus years. So that's the biggest thing is treating them right, not doing wrong. And cause it ruins it for everybody. So if I were to quit, maybe someday down the road, they'll want to help somebody else out. You don't give them a sour taste.
We really count on the community sponsors. You know, I think it's important that the community does get behind their local racers, their local track, keeping this going, because it's a sport just like anything else. Baseball, you know, you're taking your kids to soccer, like you said, your son's involved in baseball. You know, people don't think about racing as another opportunity, and so the community businesses need to help them because it's all part of the economy. I think it's great. It's a challenge to get sponsors, but I guess that ties into just running a race team. So how does it feel, you know, to have the mental game that goes with that? How do you tackle that differently from the sponsorships?
I mean, that's the hardest part. Like a long time ago, my dad said, here, you get the reins to the racing account. This is your deal. I'm not doing it anymore. And that's when I really learned, you know, can I buy tires this week? You know, I have to buy fuel. Can I afford to buy a tire this week? So that's the big thing, is just, I mean, it's managing your money and what you get and keeping the car in good shape. I mean, if you tear it up every week, I mean, you can be done for the year. Right. So you just gotta be smart and manage your money. And I mean, it's something I'm trying to teach Tate why he's racing, to take care of his equipment, work on his stuff, appreciate it.
Trevor,
there's a lot that goes into it.
There really truly is. And the nice thing about where we're at here with the conversation is the fact that I've got about 6 or 7 other questions that I want to ask you, which means I'm going to try to put you on the spot here. And I'm going to say, at some point in the not too distant future, would you be willing to maybe grab Dad and Tate and come down and hang out with us for a while so we can ask you a couple more questions?
I think we would like that. I don't know how much my 10-year-old will talk. He's pretty shy, but I can probably drag him down there. My dad, he can tell stories for days, I'm sure. But yeah, that'd be something that'd be fun.
Good. 'Cause I'm going to give you a couple of quick ones here to finish up today's interview. By the way, we're joined by Trevor Grossenbacher here on the finish line on 93.7 The Ticket. Quickly, a prediction on who's going to win the Eldora Million this year.
I'm going to say Rico Abreu.
I think that's going to be everybody's pick to do it with him and Ricky Warner. How about the Nationals?
Knoxville, I'm going to go with who about Knoxville? David Gravel, I would say.
I think that's
my money's on Gravel.
Yeah, good choice there. And who's going to win the World of Outlaw point title this year?
Oh shoot, I haven't been paying attention to who's even leading points.
You have David Gravel and Brad Sweet and Carson Macedo all within about 55 points of each other.
I would like to see Gravel. Sweet is just very consistent and is in the right spot at the right time. But I would like to see Gravel win it.
All righty, a couple more really quick. Who's your favorite driver and why?
Tyler Walker.
I love that.
Number 35.
Yes.
He didn't do a lot of right things in life, but he's a heck of a naturally talented race car driver, and I loved him when I was a kid. He was a young kid, so, and he was always running the top. And that's the type of guy I like. I like Sheldon. I like guys that knock the ball down.
Exactly. Now, I've heard rumors that Tyler may be jumping back in a car.
I hope so. It'd be good to see.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
I heard that in Pennsylvania, maybe.
Yep. And outside of Eagle Raceway, what's your favorite track to race on?
Cameron, Missouri, US 36.
Awesome. Trevor Grossenbacher.
It's a little high bank track. It's my style track.
It is, and I went down to the Outlaw race there earlier this year. That is a fantastic track. The banking is varied. We'll call it that. But a fun little track. Trevor, thank you so much for the time. We'll have you and your dad and Tate on here in a few weeks. I think it'll be a good time.
It'll be great.
All right. I appreciate you guys for having me. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend.
All right. You too. Trevor Grossenbacher joining us here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com on the finish line. Let's jump to break, and then we'll put a bow on the show when we come back.
Eagle Chassis are back and better than ever. New owner Mike Boston, who has been building Eagle Chassis for the last 2.5 years, will be using the same high-quality raw materials and equipment that Eagle Chassis have always been made with. Located in Lincoln, Nebraska, Eagle Motorsports LLC will continue to provide sprint car teams with the safest, most durable chassis there are. They will give drivers the strength, flexibility, and durability that they need to win on race night. If you're looking for a new chassis or need repairs made to your current one, call Mike at 402-826-0302.
The new season of the Nebraska Lottery's Lucky for Life Ticket Snap promotion is here. Until July 10th, buy a Lucky for Life ticket and enter the voucher number for a chance to win Nebraska football Skybox season tickets, regular Nebraska football season tickets, single game Nebraska football tickets, an incredible weekend football experience, or tickets to Volleyball Day in Nebraska. So snap to it and enter today. Lucky for Life top prize odds, 1 in 30 million.
What are you doing, hon? I thought we were going to pick up our Powerball with Power Play and Double Play tickets.
Hold on, I have to sit through this video meeting for work.
Do they realize how big the Powerball jackpot is?
I know, but these blowhards keep rambling on.
I don't want to miss my chance to win millions of dollars.
Well, neither do I, but how do I get these win bags to speed it up?
Dave, you're not on mute.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Play Powerball from the Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds, 1 in 292 million.
The wait is almost over. The Guardians of Freedom Air Show is the hottest event in the area. Coming to Lincoln's Air Park on Saturday, August 26th and Sunday, August 27th. Elevate your air show experience with tickets to the premium seating tent, padded seats, meals, and more for just $125. Premium tickets are going fast, so buy yours today. To purchase premium tickets and for more information, visit LincolnAirShow.com. We'll see you at the Guardians of Freedom Air Show in late August.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Keep your planter. Upgrade your technology with a John Deere Performance Upgrade Kit from Landmark Implement. Choose from ExactEmerge, MaxEmerge 5, or MaxEmerge 5E electric drive row units. Take your planter to the next level. Improve yield potential and profitability without buying new. Get new technology, increased performance, and confidence from your planter that's already in your shed. Contact your local Landmark location to order your John Deere Performance Upgrade Kit and experience the Landmark difference.
If you struggle with joint pain, there's good news. You don't need surgery to get back to full health. South Point Medical and Aesthetics offers breakthrough non-surgical options for treatment of moderate to severe joint pain. Our patients experience little to no downtime from our procedures, and the results are remarkable. They've had 14 years of successful treatments with patients from 35 states because of an effective word-of-mouth traffic. Learn more about how you can get lasting results for joint pain today at southpointmedical.com or call 402-323-8400.
Keep summer green with Judson Baleen and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. Lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install 'em and forget 'em outfit, long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
The days of internet contracts and heavy fine print are over. It's time to experience hassle-free service with no contracts or hidden fees. That's the Allo promise. Allo Communications provides fiber internet, TV, and phone services with fair and no-nonsense pricing. All backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, 24/7 local support 365 days a year, and a monthly bill you can count on. Don't settle for gimmicks. Settle for hassle-free with Allo. Visit us at allofiber.com/hassle-free.
Keep your planter. Upgrade your technology with a John Deere Performance Upgrade Kit from Landmark Implement. Choose from ExactEmerge, MaxEmerge 5, or MaxEmerge 5E electric drive row units. Take your planter to the next level. Improve yield potential and profitability without buying new. Get new technology, increased performance, and confidence from your planter that's already in your shed. Contact your local Landmark location to order your John Deere Performance Upgrade Kit and experience the Landmark difference.
Back to the finish line with Mike Melby on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the finish line. You're on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. I'm Mike Melby. Rebecca Pearson right there. Austin Norman driving the car tonight. Ricky Simmons coming up with Get Your Happy On. Charlie Colon going to be in studio. Looking forward to hearing that one. I know Charlie's a guy that I believe was the original bullpen catcher for the Lincoln Salt Dogs back in the day when they opened up Haymarket Park in season number 1. But
He loves
Charlie,
baseball, for sure.
he does. He's a
And
business
chicken.
guy here in town. Yeah,
Baseball and chicken.
Well, there's nothing wrong with either one of those. But going to be interesting. You got a fantastic show coming up though with Get Your
great.
Happy On with Ricky Simmons. We talked about this a little bit earlier, and it's one of the questions I wanted to ask Trevor Grossenbacher was guys that drop down in class to race. Now, you, when you were working with Mobile One, you're sponsoring, for the sake of argument, Tony Stewart.
Yes.
And you're like, Tony.
And Lewis Hamilton.
I have a question, Tony.
Couple of guys.
You're jumping into a 360 sprint car, not a 410, but a 360,
Yep.
which is the middle level class of
Mhm.
sprint car racing, to go to a local track on a Tuesday and rate. Why?
Yeah.
Because we're paying you a lot of money to win on Sundays.
Right.
However, if Tony Stewart doesn't do that, that track may not survive. That may be their big draw, and he's doing it to try to help them. Maybe it's going to be a bigger purse because he's going to be, whatever the case may be.
Right.
Walk me through those conversations that you and your team had to have with Tony or Lewis or whoever.
Sure. Well, you always had them because they all had a passion. So Lewis liked karting, right? That's how he started. It was in karting. So they would still do that. You know, what you learn about these guys is these are their passions and they have a huge following. We would call that grassroots, right? In my business, because I with Mobile One, we sell motor oil to anybody and everybody. So from a business perspective, him being involved in dirt tracks and sprint car racing and whatever actually helped us reach that grassroots racer. Now, yes, you're always concerned about him driving his NASCAR and being able to make it that day, but from a business perspective, there was actually some benefit to him doing those things. Now, do you worry about them being injured? Absolutely. You know, when you're sponsoring, especially big brands like an ExxonMobil, Mobile One, you're worried about a lot of things. You're worried about their off-track behavior. Same with basketball. We would sponsor Anthony Davis. When we went and evaluated him, we would have all these conversations about looking at all the people. We would look at 10 or 15 people, you know, when you're evaluating who to sponsor. So there's a lot of things to consider when you're sponsoring that you have to consider, have to worry about.
I'm guessing John Morant would be probably off the list of a lot of companies sponsoring right now.
Yes.
So, and it's
Not
one of the-
everybody though.
No. One of the other things, and we were talking about it with our sponsor of the Victory Lane segment, Eagle Chassis.
Right.
I was down and I was looking at his shop and the way he's got everything set up. The technical side of racing fascinates me.
Yes.
And I know that you've, reached out to, and there's a possibility we might be able to get a tech.
Oh, we're getting him on. Yes.
A tech guy. Okay.
We are. We're going to get the ExxonMobil technical advisor to Formula One and NASCAR here, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, to be able to talk to us about all the things you ever wanted to know about a NASCAR car, especially Formula One, which is like a total mystery of how different these cars are, how they make them fast, all the rules and regulations. But a lot of our technical advisors, and I don't know about this about Tomek in general, but our previous advisor was a go-kart person. You know, they all these guys love cars. They're racing they're doing things on their own. So I'll be interested to find out. I can't remember what his passion is. I knew him when I worked there, but anyway, that should be a fun conversation.
There's times I think F1 is just CGI. Some of the things they do. So.
It's amazing. I mean, I've been in the garage, when the car leaves to go do their first hot lap, with the races. You put you in a little booth, McLaren in particular, they had headsets like this. You could hear the in-car conversations. We got the full experience. I've had a lot of exposure to both of these. Same with NASCAR too, similar.
You hear the in-car conversations, which is where you probably learned half the cuss words you know.
Well, they're usually good until, somebody does something not so nice, and then it comes out. But
real quick, I want to touch on this. I forgot I was going to go over it, but it just popped in my head when you were talking about that part of it. Last night, there were two guys at Eagle that were pitted relatively close to where Mike was, and they got into an argument and a disagreement after the B feature. They ran like 7th and 8th, but there were still punches thrown.
Oh, my.
And it's one of those where it's like, time and score, boys. I get it. You're upset because somebody did something bad or whatever, but have a conversation. And I get it. You're young and you're passionate.
And your adrenaline's running when you're
I get
racing,
it,
and you're not really processing.
But it's like you're arguing over something that happened with 3 laps to go when you were running 7th in a B feature.
Right.
Unless it was blatant and on purpose and with intent, get over it.
Yep, that's true.
Luckily cooler heads prevailed, and I don't think any teeth were lost or bones broken. But
speaking of other cool things last night, I don't know if you saw the pile up in the sprint race, at High Banks Nationals. It was like lap 32 or something.
Yep.
Yeah, that was, cars are sitting on top of each other, and you get worried about them, but they all seem to walk away. It was all fine. But I haven't seen too many of those in the races I've been watching since we started doing this.
Yeah, no, they happen on occasion, and some of them can be pretty spectacular. And the guys walk away.
That one was pretty interesting,
Yeah.
because 2 or 3 cars are piled on top. He was upside down, and I'm thinking, all right, because whenever you see like a NASCAR flip or something, you're like, holy mackerel, but you're pretty sure they're going to walk away because it is so incredibly tight inside.
Yeah, that it is, and it speaks to the safety of all the race cars, whether it's a stock car, a late model, a sprint car, a cup car, Formula One. Every single accident that happens, there's somebody that's an engineer that's looking at it, trying to figure out.
Like a Mike Boston and his chassis, right? That was so important to him on his safety for his chassis. It's like his real differentiator.
Well, and that's something that it's one I may try to put together some kind of a video that we can point out, and we'll go down to Mike's shop and have him point out some of the things that just are such common sense that are saving lives these days. That some bars that weren't in places that they are. But
right. Well, and you don't appreciate how good a welder needs to be until you need your chassis to not fall apart in a wreck.
Exactly. Ricky C. Simmons is up next. Get your happy on. Charlie Colon in studio. Enjoy that one. I'm Mike Melby for Rebecca Pearson and Austin Norman. We'll talk to you next Sunday. Good night, everybody.
Eagle chassis are back and better than ever. New owner Mike Boston, who has been building Eagle chassis for the last 2.5 years, will be using the same high-quality raw materials and equipment that Eagle chassis have always been with. Located in Lincoln, Nebraska, Eagle Motorsports LLC will continue to provide sprint car teams with the safest, most durable chassis there are. They will give drivers the strength, flexibility, and durability that they need to win on race night. If you're looking for a new chassis or need repairs made to your current one, call Mike at 402-826-0302.
Are you ready to upgrade your combine? Don't wait. Act now to choose from the widest selection of used combines at Acres Equipment. Acres, the nation's largest John Deere combine dealer, is offering 2.9% interest for 60 months on over 100 pre-owned combines. Go to acres.com to view a huge inventory of low-hour, late-model John Deere combines. Find your farm for Acre Solutions for every field.
Hey, moms and dads, bring